Good morning, everyone. Let me see. Okay. All right. How you all doing today? I hope you're having had a great weekend. I'm always looking forward to see what's going on with you all. Please feel, let me get this approved. Okay. Okay. Let's get this thing. All right. That sounds good. Anyway, welcome to Monday Mastery call. My name is Louis Tornes, and I'm your, whoa, what's going on there? Excuse this. My name is Louis Tornes. I'm a agency owner here at LTDT Insurance. We're recording this thing, so hopefully we should get this thing up. I'm still trying to figure out what happened last week, but we got last week's a little messed up. So we're going to be trying to get this thing going, and hopefully we'll have everything. Let me see, make sure who's on here. Okay. So today's topic is going to be building resilience through rejection. Anybody can get rejected. Everybody gets rejected at one time or another. So it's important to understand, how do I build out of that? All right. Let me see what this is. Okay. So let's get some announcements out of the way. Okay. And the first one, I was going to, hopefully she was on here, but she's not. Unless I see someone else. Let me make sure. All right. But I wanted to thank, oops. I wanted to thank Arlene for actually, why is this doing this? Give me 1 second. Okay. This is really going wacko on me. All right, there we go. Yeah, I wanted to thank Arlene for trying to do something different. Sometimes it's a little hard to, whoops, to do something that you're not used to. And one of the things she's had a hard time doing is getting into today's world. And she just got on Agent CRM, and I'm helping her out with that. And the bottom line is, it's about doing something different. And I'm still playing here with this thing, so please forgive me. Okay. Anyway, she actually took a step forward to come into today's world. Folks, it's important to understand, if you got things in Excel, if you got your client's information in something that's on your computer, please be aware that CMS frowns on that. It is important to go ahead and make sure that you're doing things the right way. And sometimes that means getting things done a little differently. So anyway, just to let you know, let's make sure. All right, so I just wanted to throw a quick shout out on that. I want to also let you guys know, give you an update on what's going on with the certifications. As you can see, United Healthcare has been open since the beginning of the month. Obviously, NABIB and AHIP are both active also. It says Florida Blue is active. I have yet to see that, so I got an issue going on with Florida Blue, so I don't see that happening. Aetna is also done. So Aetna is, I've actually completed Aetna. I've completed United Healthcare. Obviously, I did my NABIB on Saturday. So this weekend I did a lot of this. Coming up also is Devoted is open. Anthem, if you guys do Simply, Elements, or anything, they're going to be open up on the 30th, along with HealthSun, HealthSpring, Molina, Humana, WellCare, and then the others, they don't have dates in yet. So we'll be getting dates as they come in. I'll keep you updated on this as the week goes on. Also, I want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July. We will be closing. We will not be doing anything on Friday the 3rd. We're going to take the 3rd off. We'll be losing my good receptionist, Rachel, will be leaving us for a week. She's be on vacation, going on a cruise, a well-deserved vacation. She deserves every bit of it. So I wish her a lot of luck, and I hope she has fun. Rachel is very crucial to the business. So I just want to throw another shout out to her. Let's get into today's subject. So before I got into the insurance, I don't know how many of y'all know about this. I was involved. Actually, I spent 31 years working for the phone company, and it really did give me a lot of basis of what I do today because I've always been a customer oriented person, and that continues on to my insurance business. Now, during my insurance career, I've had days where I've felt unstoppable. And I started off at Baker's Life selling supplement plans, Medicare supplement plans. And man, I did real pretty good. But I also had hard days where it seemed like everything could go wrong. And it did. I remember one day in particular, early in my days, I was excited because I had several appointments scheduled. And I thought it was going to be a very big productive day. Well, my first appointment canceled. The second person didn't answer the door, and I was actually going out to people's houses. The third appointment said I already bought from someone else. And the fourth appointment listened to my entire presentation, thanked me for my time, and then told me they wanted to think about it. I drove home, and this was a 2-hour drive. I drove home frustrated. I remember sitting in the car thinking, maybe I'm not cut out for this business. Maybe some of you have had the same thoughts. The next morning, I had a choice. I could stay discouraged or I could get back to work. Well, I chose to make the next calls. That next call turned into an appointment. That appointment turned into a sale. That client eventually referred family members and friends. And over the year, that one relationship generated thousands of dollars in my business. Here's the lesson. None of that would have happened if I had quit after a bad day. Insurance is not a business where you avoid rejections. It's a business where you learn to move through rejections. The agents who succeed are the agents who hear yes all the time. They're the ones that keep going after the no's. And that's what we're going to talk about today. This session is about what happens between your ears before the sale happens. The agent who lasts in this business aren't the most talented. They're the ones who are most mentally prepared. Today we're going to talk about rejections, resilience, and the habits that separate top producers from everyone else. Let's start here with a quote of the day. Before we get into this, we're going to talk about where we're having, well, we're going to talk about this even while we're having this conversation. The quote is, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. That's a powerful statement, folks. You cannot just take the failures and think it's, oh my God, oh, poor me and all this sort of stuff. What takes courage is that you continue, and that's what's going to count. All right, so we're going to walk through 5 objections so you know where we're going. This isn't theory. Every point connected to what you will face this week, whether it's on the phone or on an appointment, these are the things you got to look for. Why rejection is part of the business. How successful agents think differently. How to stay motivated, even during difficult weeks. How to build confidence through action. And 5, how to deploy a long-term resilience. Which of these do you want most to walk out with here? That's up to you. Hopefully you'll walk out with more than that. So the reality of insurance sales is rejection is not the job. You're going to have missed appointments. You're going to have voicemails that you're going to be dealing with. You're going to have cancellations. You're going to have objections. And guess what? You're going to get no's. That's not a sign that something is broken. It's the work. That's just the facts of life. The agents who quit are the ones who get the most rejected, who get rejected the most. They're the ones that really quit are the ones who took it personally. Rejection means you're in the game. It's not a sign of failure. It's that you're doing your work. It's an important thing to understand. Let's talk about something every insurance agent experiences at one point. Rejection hurts. It hurts because we're human. Most of us generally care about helping people. So when someone says no, it's easy to think that they're rejecting us personally. We start asking ourselves, did I say something wrong? Am I not good enough? Maybe I'm just not cut out for this business. But here's what I've learned over the years. Most prospects are not rejecting you. They're rejecting something else. Sometimes it's the timing. Maybe they simply aren't ready to make that decision today. Sometimes it's the decision itself. Making changes to a health insurance, life insurance, or financial planning can be overwhelming. Sometimes it's the change. People naturally resist change because change creates uncertainty. Keep in mind, how many times do I hear, even from agents, about changes? Boy, why are they changing this? Why are they change is inevitable. It's going to happen to everyone. Sometimes it's the cost. Even when they know they need coverage, money concerns can delay the decisions. And sometimes it's just the process. Insurance can be confusing, and some people need additional time to understand everything. Think about your own life. Have you ever delayed making the purchase that you knew was important? Maybe you put off buying a car, changing doctors, or making a financial decision. You were not rejecting the person trying to help you. You simply weren't ready. The same thing happens with our clients. One of the biggest mindset shift you can make while doing this is separate your values from the outcome. A prospect saying no doesn't change your value. It doesn't define your ability. It doesn't define your future success. It simply means the timing or circumstances were not right at the time. And remember, today's no can become tomorrow's yeses. That's why we follow up. That's why we continue serving. And we never take rejection personally. So, if a rejection isn't personal, what should the focus be? Well, at LTDT Insurance, our focus is simple. Take care of the people. And let's talk about that next. At LTDT Insurance, we believe that success in the business starts with the right mindset. And our mindset is simple. Take care of the people. Everything we do comes back with one principle. When we sit down with a client, our job is not to pressure them. Our job is not to chase commissions. And our job is definitely not to win every sale. Our job is to help. Our job is to educate. Our job is to serve. And our job is to solve problems. Think about it this way. When you go to the doctor, you don't want someone trying to sell you something. You want someone who listens, understands your problem, and recommends the best solution. That's exactly how we should approach every client's interaction. If we truly focus on helping people Commissions become a byproduct of the excellent service. Too many people, too many agents enter this business focusing on money. Don't focus on pressure, chasing commissions, winning every sale. The problem with clients is that they can feel that. Clients know when someone is generally trying to help versus when someone is simply trying to make a sale. At LTDT Insurance, we play the long game. We understand that not every appointment will result in an enrollment, and that's okay. Because even if someone doesn't enroll today, if we treated them with respect, educated them honestly, and generally tried to help them, they will remember us. Many of our best clients started as people who didn't enroll the first time. But because they trust us, they eventually came back and they referred friends and family. That's why our company motto is take care of the people and the people will take care of you. I can personally tell you that this philosophy has helped me build this business over many years. Relationships built on trust last much longer than sales built on pressure. Always remember, people may forget what you said, but they'll never forget the quote you gave them. And they'll forget the quote you gave them, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So ask yourself on a daily basis and every day and everyone you talk to, how can I help this person today? If you do that consistently, success will follow. So now that we understand the LTD insurance mindset, let's talk about something that top agents focus on. Controlling what they can control. Top performers obsess over inputs, not outcomes. You can't control whether someone enrolls, but you 100% control how many calls you make. Focus on the process. The results will follow. How many calls you made? How many follow-ups did you complete? How many appointments did you set? How many reviews did you schedule? How many trainings you attended? What you cannot control? Let's talk about that. Every enrollment you have no control of. Every prospect's decision you have no control of that. And every objection you can control to an extent, but really can't. Focus on the process. The results will follow. One of the biggest misconceptions in this business is that successful agents are born confident. They're not. Nobody starts confident. Nobody wakes up on day one and says, I've got this business completely figured out. Every successful agent, started exactly the same way you were when you first started. Unsure, nervous, afraid of making mistakes, wondering if they were saying the right things. Confidence is something. Confidence is not something you are given. It's something you earn. And if you earn it through the repetition, the first time you present Medicare, you were probably nervous. The 10th time, you feel better. By the 100th presentation, you're beginning to sound like a natural. By the 1,000th presentation, confidence becomes part of who you are. Why? Because you've done it so many times. Confidence is built through practice. The more you practice your presentation, your script, and your objection handling, the more comfortable you become. Confidence is also built through experience. There is simply no substitute for real conversations with real clients. Experience teaches you lessons that training manuals can't. Preparation. It's a key ingredient. When you know your product, understand the rules, and prepare before the appointments, your confidence naturally increases. Product knowledge matters. Clients can tell when an agent knows their material. Knowledge creates certainty, and certainty creates confidence. And finally, confidence comes from the client's conversation. Every conversation, even the difficult ones, make you better. Even when the conversations that don't end up in a sale, it teaches you something. I want everybody to remember this formula. Activity leads through experience, and experience leads to confidence. Folks, this is a formula that it will work. If you're not doing the activity, you're not going to gain the experience. If you don't get experience, you're not going to be confident. Follow this formula. Make that call, schedule that appointment, have a conversation, because every action you take builds into confidence and your success. Remember, you don't become confident and then take action. Don't do it the other way around. You take action and the confidence will follow. Unfortunately, sometimes the biggest obstacle in confidence isn't the lack of skill. It isn't the conversation happening. It's not if you're talking to people, it's not what does it. It's the conversation happening inside your head. So let's talk about the cost of negative thinking. Let's be honest. Every agent has negative thoughts from time to time. We've all said things like, I'm not good enough. Nobody wants to talk to me. I can't close a sale. The problem is, the more we repeat these things and these thoughts, the more we begin to believe them. And when we believe them, they affect our actions. If you tell yourself nobody wants to talk to you, you'll make fewer calls. If you tell yourself you can't close, you'll hesitate to ask for the business. Negative thinking creates negative results. The good news is we can change that conversation happen in our minds. So instead of saying, I'm not good enough, say, I'm learning and improving every day. Instead of saying, nobody wants to talk to me, say, my next client needs my help. Instead of saying, I can't close a sale, every conversation makes me better. Remember, your thoughts influence your actions. Your actions influence your results. Choose your thoughts carefully, because the words you repeat become the person you are. Now, I'm going to talk to you about a little bit, and this is something you might want to write this down. There's a book I read a long time ago that changed the way I think and changed the way I think all the time. Okay? It got rid of your negative stinking thinking, and it made a big deal in my life. I read this, a very simple book to read. It is biblical based, so be aware of that. And it's called The Tongue, A Creative Force by Charlie Capps. If nothing else, this is a good book to check out, to listen to, and or read, and it will make a big difference in your life. Okay? So let's take a look at the top performing agents, what they do differently when they're faced with challenges and rejections. These 6 habits are different between between a 1 good month agent and a career performer. Stress. Let me get sure. Okay, so number 1, what do performers do? They stay consistent. They keep learning. They attend trainings like this one. They follow a system. We've talked about all these things. We track activities. Very important to track things in your CRM. And they ask for help. I have agents who not necessarily mind. They call me up all the time. That's fine. I don't mind that. Ask for help. I want rather you have help. They understand that temporary setbacks do not create permanent failure. This is the most important statement on this slide. You cannot let a setback create permanent failure. So do these things I just talked about, and it'll help. So here's the situation. We're going to talk about these two agents facing rejection. Same week, same lead, same rejections, but two completely different responses. Agent A, who's on the left, he spirals. Agent B on the right uses it as fuel. Now, I'm going to ask a question. Which agent are you on a bad day? Be honest. This is the most personal side you'll see. So Agent A and Agent B. Agent A gets discouraged. He stops calling, loses momentum. And Agent B, he learns from his experience. He makes the next call, improves, and grows. Which one are you? Which one do you want to be? Which agent do you think is going to succeed long term? Think about it. One of the most important lessons I've learned in this business is you're allowed to have a bad day. You're allowed to be disappointed. You're allowed to feel frustrated when an appointment cancels, when a client says no, or when things simply don't go your way. Guess what? That's normal. And guess what? We're human. The problem isn't having a bad day. The problem is staying there. I call this the 24-hour recovery rule. When something goes wrong, follow these three steps. First, it's okay, feel disappointed. Don't pretend it didn't bother you. Acknowledge it. Maybe you lost a sale you thought you had. Maybe you had a terrible week. It's okay to feel disappointment. Step 2, learn the lesson. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Was there something I could have done differently? Is there an opportunity to improve? Every setback, whether it's in this business or in your life and everything, every setback contains a lesson, if we're willing to look for it. Third, move forward. Once you learn the lesson, let it go. Don't carry yesterday's disappointment into today's opportunities. Too many agents follow one bad appointment to destroy an entire week. One cancellation becomes no calls. No calls becomes no appointments. No appointments become no sales. Remember this. Do not let one bad day become one bad week. Champions are not people who never fail. Champions are people who recover quickly. The faster you recover, the faster you grow. And remember, your next sale may be one call away. So learn, recover, and keep moving forward. Let's talk about a small daily action and create momentum that helps us moving forward, even during difficult times. One of the biggest secrets to long-term success is understanding the power of momentum. Momentum doesn't usually come from one huge sale. It comes from small. It comes from small, consistent, repeated actions repeated every day. Too many agents think they need a massive win to feel success. That's simply not true. Let me see where I'm catching up here. Sometimes a win is as simple as making one follow-up call. Sometimes it's actually asking a client for a referral. Sometimes it's scheduling one review appointment. And maybe it's a new lead. Or maybe simply attending training like the one you're doing right now. Small wins matter because every small win creates momentum, and momentum creates confidence. Think about pushing a car. Y'all push a car, I'm sure y'all have had enough experience to do that. When you start pushing, it feels heavy and difficult, but once the car starts moving, it becomes easier to keep it moving. Your business works the same way. When you stop making calls, stop following up, and stop taking actions, it's hard to get started again. But when you're consistently taking small actions every day, momentum begins to build. And once momentum builds, confidence grows. When confidence grows, activity increases. And increased activity eventually leads to results. Remember this formula on the screen. Small wins gives more momentum. More momentum gives you more confidence, and more confidence will give you results. Never underestimate the value of daily actions. You don't need to win the entire game today. You simply need to win the day. At the end of the day, each day, ask yourself, what did I do to move my business forward? If you can answer this question every day, you'll be amazed where you'll be 1 year from now. As we prepare for AEP, this momentum becomes even more important. Let's talk about preparing for tomorrow's success. Believe it or not, AEP success doesn't begin in October. It began already. It begins today if you haven't started. Just to give you an update, AEP for me is done. I'm already certified with United Healthcare and Aetna. Those are some of the big things. I'm getting them as out of the way as possible because this starts now. The habits you build right now will determine the results you achieve during AEP. Too many agents wait until September to start preparing. Then they wonder why they feel so overwhelmed, stressed, and underprepared. Top agents understand something very important. Winners prepare before the season starts. As AEP and AHIP is approached, which they've already approached, well, at least the AHIP portion, there are 4 things every agent should focus on. Number 1, stay focused. Don't get distracted. Continue making calls, conducting reviews, and building your relationship. If you're doing AHIP and you haven't done that yet, block out some time. Close the doors. No interruptions. Focus on that. Stay focused. If you're doing a certification, stay focused. Number 2, stay positive. And this could be with a client too. Stay positive. There's going to be challenges, changes, frustrations. Keep the right mindset because your attitude impacts your results. Third, stay prepared. Complete your certifications early. Study plan changes. Review product provider networks. Learn new benefits. Update your CRM and your client list. Preparation creates confidence. Very crucial. And finally, stay consistent. The agent who wins during AEP are not usually the smartest agents. They're the agents who consistently do the work every single day. Think about professional athletes. They don't start training on the day of the championship game. They train for months before the season begins. Insurance is no different. So what you do in June, July, and August, and in September will determine what happens in October, November, and December. Remember, your mindset determines where your results tomorrow. The work you put in now is an investment in your future success. So the question is, what specific action are you willing to commit to this week to move closer to your AP goals? Let's create an action plan. Rachel, thank you for coming to help me here. We're going to finish with this review, the key lessons from this training. Okay, so rejection is normal. Every successful insurance has heard no. The difference is successful agents don't allow rejections to stop them. They learn from it and move forward. Second, confidence is built. Nobody starts confidence. Confidence comes from activities, practice, experience, and repetition. The more conversations you have, the more confident you become. Third, activity creates momentum. When you are consistently making calls, following up, asking for referrals, and attending training, the momentum builds, and when the momentum will create confidence, and the confidence will create results. Fourth, mindset drives performance. The conversation happening inside your head matters. If you believe you can improve, you will continue taking actions. If you focus on failures, you'll limit your own growth. Protect your mindset every day. And finally, consistency wins. Success in this business is not about being perfect. It's about showing up every day, day after day, making the calls, following the process, continuing to learn, and committing to serve. Remember this formula that Rachel is saying here in this slide. Oops. Consistency plus persistence equals long-term success. You don't have to be the most talented agent. You don't have to know everything. You simply have to have, you have to keep moving forward. Because over time, small daily actions become extraordinary results. And that's exactly how we build success in this business. Thank you, Rachel. All right, folks, I'm open up to any questions, comments, concerns that you might have. Let me go ahead and get my chat open here. Okay. Yeah, where do we go? Stand by 1 second. Let me minimize this guy. Can I do that? Nope. Let me do this. There you go. My favorite word. Hold on a second. Let me back up here. My favorite word following a no is next. I've heard that a whole bunch of times, Judith. Judith came up with a good one. I don't know why I can't put these up anymore. I did it one day. Let me see if I can do it now. Messages can't be saved to this meeting. Okay. Anyway, anytime you get the word no, next thing you say, next. I've heard that so many times. So that's a great point here. Let's see who else we got. Anybody else? That's the only thing. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? Rachel, Belinda, Shahida. She is in the house. Has to unmute. Oh. All right, guys. If you have nothing else, let's talk about next week. If anybody got something, you want to just open up the mic, go ahead and do so. If not, and by the way, this said, yeah, go. Wow. Yeah, I saw it last night on Gulf Coast News. Yeah. Wow. Not a fun thing to go through, but there you go. That's what counts. All right, so let's go into next week's training. Is going to be on difficult conversation. How to stay calm, cool, and collect under pressure. So you're noticing that we're doing training basically on a couple different things going on, and a lot of this has to do on the mindset. This is the theme of the month. And actually, this is my last one for this section. And I'll be going into another one after that. It says July 7th, but it's actually July 6th. So that's a typo on my behalf. But the conversation we'll have next Monday, that's what we're going to talk about. All right, folks. Otherwise, we are good to rock and roll. Y'all have a good one. If you need me, call me.